This is also a hobby of mine, by the way.
Oh yeah, we're almost like at an hour here. We haven't even talked about hobbies that much.
You
Classic.
you know what I was about.
You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host, Paul Bauer.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Come On Man. If you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, hit those notifications, leave a comment. Any comment will do. Your favorite emoji, whatever. You can say, Paul, I love your haircut. I don't care. Whatever you leave in the comments just helps us boost us in the algorithm, gets us in front of more men. Likewise, if you're listening on your favorite audio platform of choice, give us a 5-star review and actually write out why you like the show. It can even just be like 1 sentence or 2 sentences. It doesn't matter, but all that kind of stuff boosts us in the algorithm. It's a free way to help support the show. If you don't want to, join the Patreon or whatever. Follow me on social media. I'm at Come On Man Pod on most platforms. Otherwise, I'm at Come On Man Podcast. And I'm trying to build up my Instagram. So follow me on Instagram. It's pretty cool. I like that platform. Join the Patreon, patreon.com/comeonmanpod. You can join for as little as $10. You can get on the beer credits at the end of these Monday episodes on YouTube, or you also get all of these episodes ad-free, right? If you're really just tuning in for the interview part anyway. Like, let's be honest here. Come on, you're not here for the intro. You're here for the interview part. So if you join the Patreon, you get all of these episodes without all the intro, without the ads. It's worth it, Otherwise, if you want dating advice, you want relationship, sort of coaching or whatever, you can join tier 2 or tier 3 of the Patreon, depending on the level of support that you need. So you can check those out. But with tier 2, you get unlimited access to me basically over Telegram. You can send me text messages, voice messages, video messages, screenshots, whatever, and I will get back to you, relatively quickly. I think if you ask anybody that's in that tier, I get back to you pretty quick with that. So if you're in a text conversation on a dating app and you don't know what to say, you get stuck somewhere, just send a screenshot to me and I'll be like, dude, say this. And then you're going to get laid, man. Get on the email list.comeonmanpod.com. For your troubles, I will send you some free stickers. And that is really just, in case I ever get kicked off of a platform like I did with TikTok that one time. Then I can email you, I can email the people that actually really like following the podcast, and say, hey, I just got banned from whatever. Follow me on my new account. That's really what that's for. And then also check out my Practical Law of Attraction course. A lot of people have seen the movie The Secret and they've just completely dismissed it because it just seems like so far-fetched, right? Like, oh, the universe is just a genie granting wishes. And that's really not what it's about. And so when I made this Practical Law of Attraction course, I decided to take all of that kind of like magical thinking out of it. I've known quite a few people that have just very much dismissed the idea of the law of attraction because of stuff like that, right? The magical thinking and the crystals and the woo-woo. I got rid of all of that. It's really distilled down to more of a psychological practice, right? So that you can set goals really big and actually achieve those goals. It's pretty fascinating. Once you understand the principles of this, how you really are put in the driver's seat of your life. You're not just a passenger, right? So many people just let their life happen to them. It's mind-blowing, right? I would imagine that if I asked you right now if life just happens to you or if you make things happen for yourself, if you were really honest with me, you would say that life sort of just happens, and that's not how life was meant to be. And so if you take this course, I will show you how to write your own story. It's actually pretty cool. All right. All that being said, this week, my guest is the Manosphere's favorite Dutchie. Although I think if you asked him, he would tell you that he's trying to back away from the Manosphere. Like I don't think he really likes it being in it anymore. So he's trying to distance himself from that, which I understand. Still a good dude though. He's a certified forklift driver now, as well as one hell of a fitness coach. It's Jack Napier. And we're going to talk about how Bishes love men with hobbies, man. And we also talk about some other stuff too, because if you guys have ever tuned in with an episode with Jack and I, like we go off on tangents, we go off on all sorts of stupid tangents. But this time, I tried to bring it all back to the original discussion. So tune in; it's actually a pretty fun episode. I think you'll like it, and we will bring you all of that right after these words. Do you want a positively unfair advantage in life? Most people tiptoe through life hoping they'll make it safely to death. They let life happen to them. Up until now, I'm assuming that's been your situation. Am I right about that? But you know deep down that you're destined for more. You know that you deserve more money or better relationships. Yet you're stuck doing the same thing over and over again, getting the same results. That ends today, because you're going to check out my Practical Law of Attraction course. My Practical Law of Attraction course will give you the tools necessary to write your own story. You will be in the driver's seat of your life, not just the passenger. Your life is already getting better because you're listening to this message right now. Access this course at loa.comeonmanpod.com. That's loa.comeonmanpod.com. When you're done with this course, the results that you see for yourself will be better. Others will see how your life is changing for the better. And you'll know that everything in this course is true because your life will be better. But the choice is up to you. You have to decide if you want to stay where you are or achieve goals so big that it will blow your mind. The law of attraction is nothing without action. So what are you waiting for? Act now. Returning to the podcast is the Manosphere's favorite Dutchie, a certified forklift driver, as well as one hell of a fitness coach. It's Jack Napier. Today we're going to talk about how Bishes love men with hobbies and probably some other crap. What's going on, man? It's so great to see you back on Twitter.
You forgot narrator, published author, and podcaster.
None of that matters. now that you're a certified forklift operator.
And humble personality.
One thing that I noticed, so it was like so I recently, we were just chatting about this. I just got certified as a life coach, and like it wasn't like right afterwards you were certified forklift operator. I was like, is Jack posting that to fuck with me?
No. I didn't even,
because if he is, that's fucking awesome. He's a because it's in your Twitter bio too, certified forklift operator. I was like, this is awesome, dude.
I actually am. It's funny because I have a part-time job next to all of this. Yeah. Because I mean, you and I talked about this before, and I'm like, what's at a certain point the best side hustle is a part-time job. Even Cappy talked about this.
Sure.
And it was only for 8 to 16 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
And at a certain point, they came up to me and were like, could we help you with anything? Like, are you interested in X, Y, and Z? And I'm like, they're never going to do this. Like, forklift certificate would be nice. Oh, we're gonna look into that for you. I'm like, they're not gonna do it for a part-timer.
Yeah.
Week later, they call me. Yeah, by the way, about that forklift certificate, we'll finance it. It's like, okay,
there you go.
Sure. I mean, if this doesn't work out, there's plenty of other jobs I can go to after that. It's like, yeah, sure. So yes, I am now officially forklift certified, and I did not know there's an entire meme culture for forklift certified. Yeah,
there's a meme culture for it.
There's a meme culture for forklift certified people. I didn't even know that. A friend of mine just started sending memes to me. It's like, what? It's like, apparently bitches love forklifts. It's like, okay, interesting.
Everyone knows that. One thing I will say about any kind of certification, right? Mm-hmm. And I've been saying this for years, is certifications are a lot like boob jobs. Okay. You get your current company to pay for it, and then you let your next company play with that. You know what I mean? Like, so like a boob job, you get your current husband to pay for the boob job, and then you let your next boyfriend play with them. You know what I mean? It's the same thing.
I've never paid for them, so I don't know what you mean. I have held them, but
You
apparently
whore.
she paid for them herself, apparently. Like, she and I had a chat about it. She's like, yeah, well, I always had an A cup and I just never liked it, so I went with the biggest possible. It's like, well, that escalated quickly. Okay, well, and no, honestly, the technology has moved forward, has progressed. It's like, could have fooled me.
It's nice. So I don't know if she wants me to tell anybody this, but nurse chick,
you can cut it.
No. She doesn't care. Nurse chick got some implants last year, and they are nice, and I approve. I didn't pay for them. She paid for them herself because she's a strong, independent woman, and yeah, it's great. I approve.
I mean, we have the technology. Like, who was I talking to about this? Who was that? Can't remember. Somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, now, breast implants, I understand. Like, I fully understand. I really do. But butt implants, I'm like, you can train your ass. It's like, look,
right?
Like, boobs aren't a muscle.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
No, I
but
hear
like, your glutes are. You can train your glutes. And that's when I'm like, yeah, why the hell would you have butt implants?
Because those chicks that get the butt implants are inherently lazy, and you don't want those chicks.
No, are they the low quality women?
They're low quality women.
Oh.
You know,
low quality.
Well, I mean, it's like they might be fun, right? They might be fun for a couple weeks, maybe put in the rotation, but you have to think long term, right? If you are one of those guys that eventually wants to settle down with a plate, you know what I mean? Like, you're spinning all these plates, you want to find the fine china. At that point, you sort of need to look at that kind of thing, right? Because if she's like taking the easy route out, she's lazy. She's fucking lazy. It's a sign. Just hit it and quit it. You know what I mean?
Is this one of those legendary red flags everybody keeps talking about?
I mean, I look at red flags like they're sort of a personal thing. Like
I will die on this hill. Yeah. Red flags are a green light.
Yes, sir. I mean, but for fun, right? But not necessarily for any kind of long-term thing, right?
But what is these days?
Yeah.
No, because I've seen now that I'm back on Twitter.
Yes.
Apparently, like, now we used to have TradCon, and now it's FemTrad or TradFem. I'm not sure about the name yet. TradFem seems nice.
Are we talking about like real femme sapien type?
She is a savage. I'll give her that. She is a savage when it comes to.
She's an expert, like, level troll. Like, she's a really good shit poster. Yeah,
she is great at like riling up the spurgs and shit like that. I absolutely love it.
Yep. I respect the game. I respect.
Oh yeah, absolutely. However, and this is absolutely not a personal thing, I am seeing a lot of, I did this, so you must do it too. Like, I got married. Marriage is great. It's like, whoa, settle down. Your marriage is great, and I wish you all the best. I really do. I have nothing against marriage and shit like that.
Your absolutely marriage is great so far.
And I mean, you've read the Book of Numbers.
Yep.
I mean, over 50% ends up in divorce, and then of what stays together, not a whole lot is known to be happily married.
Right. I think Clary says 14% ends up being happily married by, in the long term.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, so it's like, I get the message. I really do. Because of course you want people to be happily together. We are better together than we are apart. Blessed be his name, Rollo Tomasi, his name, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But you have to take into consideration, my humble opinion,
Yeah,
that marriage as an institution
it's dead.
is, well, it's not what it used to be. No.
Yeah.
It's like the religious marriage of the joining of the houses and the continuation of the name. Well, it's these days, it's a financial obligation. It is a business contract. Now, if we can get that out of it, sure. However, that is not going to happen.
You don't think so? So the way,
I don't see a multi-billion-dollar industry collapse overnight.
No, I mean, there's always going to be people that are, running to that white picket fence. I was one of those guys, right? So I mean, I got married when I was 20 years old, right? I've told this story tons of times. I was in that mindset that this is the end state, right? You date girls because you want to get married. There's plenty of people out there that's going to keep doing that kind of nonsense, but smart people that have been burned before, young guys that are coming up in the space that are reading the books and like listening to old folks like me that have been through the fucking ringer, and they're like learning from like our mistakes. They're looking at it like, what's in it for me? And there's nothing in it for you. So, and you know what? One of the great things about Nurse Chick, my girlfriend, is that she's one of the few women that I've ever met that actually had to pay her ex-husband alimony. So she knows what it feels like. She knows the pain. She understands like the problems of getting the government involved in your relationship. And so so we both are sort of on the same page where you don't need the government in your relationship, and anything that you could possibly get out of marriage, you could get in other ways, right? So, I mean, like obviously, sex and living together and all that stuff, you don't need to get the government involved in that. If let's say I'm on my deathbed, right, and I need to give her the power of attorney, I could sign paperwork to give her the power of attorney. She doesn't have to be my wife. Like, you don't have to do this shit. You can do this in other ways. So, and I think people are realizing that.
Yeah, but also like the age-old question, what does marriage add to a relationship that it doesn't already have?
Yeah, it adds absolutely fucking nothing. And people might cite the Bible or religion or whatever and be like, oh, well, God says you have to be man and wife. Honestly, before I think the 1920s, the government wasn't involved at all. It was just a church thing. So.
Yeah, but I mean, then marry for the church. I mean, marry in a closed off situation where it's like, we are now married under God. And then like the government might say, well, you're not married. For you, no. But for us and our conviction, we are.
Yeah.
I don't know what's hard about that. I really don't. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's people who like want everything on paper. But I'd be like, yeah, we're married under God. That's all you need to know. Well, I believe the Muslims do this.
I believe they do too. I believe in like Utah, right, where a lot of the Mormons are. There's fundamentalists. They call them fundamentalists, where they believe in like the old school, teachings of Mormonism, and that is a man and he has multiple wives, right? It's a polygamous type situation, and in that type of situation, the guy usually like gets married like legally to his first wife, and then he'll have a bunch of sister wives, and all of them are married in the church, but none of them are like legal on paper, and the state doesn't recognize polygamous marriage. And Rob says
who's that?
Rob, I mean, he obviously lives in Utah. He grew up in the Mormon religion. He says that the state actually got rid of common law marriage, and common law means you live with someone for so long that the state eventually recognizes that they're your wife. I believe that's what he said. That, or they will only recognize it if like they bring it, like say someone dies, like the guy dies and then the wife like makes a claim on his stuff, that's when they might recognize it, but otherwise they don't recognize it. There's a few other states in the United States that don't recognize common law marriage, where you just live together and, you know, after so many years, you're husband and wife. Colorado is a common law state, though. Like if you live long enough together here, they look at you like you're husband and wife. So you have to be careful of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a thing in the Netherlands as well, where I'm kind of like, whose business is that?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, well, we have decided you're now husband and wife. Fuck, you ain't.
Yeah.
Am I still allowed to decide that for myself? Well, you've been living together for so long. So?
Mm-hmm.
What's in it for you? Money, of course.
Taxes. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
money. It's all money. Man, we went off on a tangent here. I meant to.
You know what I'm about.
Yeah, you knew this before you had me. So I was going to ask you, Jack, have you been following the 9 ancestral tenets, like sunning your balls and whatnot, or
Primals?
Yeah, are you primal?
Well, I mostly do a carnivore diet. You know, this whole Liver King situation.
Yeah,
I think it's sad because, in all honesty, the majority of his message was actually pretty positive.
Mm-hmm.
If a lot of people just follow like the basics of his advice, your life will probably improve.
Yeah.
And then he had to go off the deep end. It's like, of course.
So, this episode is obviously coming out in January, so it's like this is old news by now. But you could tell by
Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, you could tell by Jack's hat that this is prior to Christmas that we're recording this, and obviously right around the time of Liver King's scandal, where he was exposed for doing roids, where it's like everyone fucking knew, dude. But the big thing was that he lied about it, right? He went on all sorts of podcasts and lied about it. You recently did an episode about it, like your thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm.
What, like, can you break that down? Like what you initially thought about that?
Yes, I can. Like the TLDR version is kind of what I just said.
Yeah.
And I think it's a shame. I really do. But like, again, in general, like eat meat or have a meat-based diet, work out, go in the sun, blah, 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 blah. Like the basics.
Yeah.
Do those things and your life will improve. And I also think that the reason why he lied is because otherwise people would have dismissed the basics of his advice. That's why I think.
Do you think so though? Like, do you think people would have brushed it off? Because like Rich Cooper, for example, right? Mm-hmm. Rich Cooper sells supplements. He's got his whole supplement line. He's got estrogen blockers and testosterone boosters. But at the same time, he's like, get on fucking TRT because it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've asked him, like, hey, can your supplements like reproduce that? Like, can they boost your testosterone enough? He's like, dude, no, they can't boost it enough to be at optimal level. Like, he's straightforward with you on that. And I don't think, I mean, he's still driving around in a fucking McLaren. So I don't think that's hurting him at all, being upfront and honest about it.
No, but would you say that he is an advocate of such a drastic lifestyle?
As Liver King? No. Liver King was spending what, $12,000 a month on fucking roids? Yeah.
Not necessarily the roids, but it's like Liver King was an advocate for a certain lifestyle, a complete like turnaround.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like assimilated hunts and fucking walking around.
Yeah, exactly. Like all the ancestral tenants and shit like that, which I just stated.
There's 9 of them, by the way.
Oh yeah, which I just stated. Like the basics of that.
Yeah.
Was pretty positive.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I would think that it would have indeed hurt his brand more.
Mm-hmm.
Where Rich, for example, is more straightforward with, well, supplements, etc. And yes, TRT will be beneficial, especially as a man. When you reach a certain age, testosterone is going to lower, not only because of natural reasons, but also because of chemical reasons that have been implemented in our daily in the products of our daily usage. Therefore, it would be beneficial for you to do TRT.
Yeah.
So there's a very distinct difference between the two.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and honestly, I mean, if you compare body size between between Liver King and Rich, I mean, Rich
It's
has
about 5 foot or something. Like
I
Liver
well,
King is 5'4", I believe, and Rich is 6'3".
well, I'm not talking about height. I'm talking about
I
like,
know, I know what you meant.
talk about jackness though. I mean, like Liver King's like off the scales, right? Like he has the unattainable body fucking composition of He-Man,
Yep.
right? Rich has more of a believable body
Yeah.
composition, So
And I don't know how I want to phrase this actually.
just say it, bro. Just
No, no, it's like it's a positive thing
yeah.
where which is like Rich, his body, especially for his age,
He's in great shape.
is
He's in better shape.
achievable.
I would say he's in better shape than I am.
Hmm.
For sure. 100%.
He's like it's very much achievable, and
Mhm.
he's been honest about like the things that he uses, takes, etc.
Yep.
Which in all honesty, I don't think TRT should be such a big deal.
No, I agree.
Have you seen what's in hormonal birth control? Like female hormones just off the counter, and like a man is like, "Hey, can I get some testosterone boosters?"
Well, female like birth control, they still like in the States at least. I don't know what it's like in Europe, but in the States, you still have to have a prescription for it. So you still have to go to the pharmacy or whatever. So I think it's still, regulated the same. But
can you get TRT off the counter?
no, but you can't get birth control at the counter here either.
Really?
No. You can get the morning after pill though off the counter, which is it's the same thing. It's hormonal, and it's like a higher dose of like the normal birth control pill, and it causes a woman to feel like she's ovulating or whatever, makes her do that kind of thing. But it's the same chemical. But that's it. But if you want to do like your normal, your daily hormone birth control, that requires a prescription here.
There, last time I checked, they want it to be included in the national welfare healthcare. Sorry, they wanted to be included in the national healthcare.
Yeah, I believe
free.
I do believe that it's covered under Obamacare here, so it's insurance has to pay for it. It's 100% covered and whatever.
No, not insurance, Paul. You.
Oh, well, yeah. But
you have to pay for it.
Sure, of course.
I always find that very humorous when I see news articles like this and this for free. It's like it's not for free. It really isn't. Like schools are gonna provide menstruation products for free, where it's like it's not for free.
Someone's paying for it. There's no such thing. Like you can ask Clary, right? It's a pretty common economic principle that there's no such thing as a free lunch.
But just to come back to the point about Liver King,
yeah,
I still think what he did is wrong, though. Like the whole lying about it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I'm also not saying he was right about whatever reason he had. He was lying about it. I just think the main reason for him lying was, no, I want people to focus on that. Or, I mean, I have been known to be optimistically naive every now and then, where it's like, I see the best in people. It could have also been very well, I want them to buy my supplements. I want them to focus on the supplements, not me, the supplements. And yeah, then he would be a con man. So, but like you stated, like exposed for using drugs. It's like,
I don't think anyone cares specifically that he used drugs. I think that the problem is that he lied because he deliberately used it because he knew he was going to be the face of this marketing campaign that he planned out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mostly. That's the fitness industry for you.
There you go. There you go.
Mm.
That's not what we were going to talk about today, though, Jack. Let's talk a little bit about hobbies. So my hobbies are sunning my balls and the 9 ancestral tennis. I'm just kidding. Those aren't my hobbies. Jack, what are some of your hobbies?
Hiking is one. Collecting old school Pokemon cards is one. Collecting old school Lego sets is one. Lifting. Is lifting even a hobby, or is that more like has become a habit?
I think like the gym and hiking are kind of similar type hobbies, right? Like they're good for you, but
It's
you
more of
can
a
include
habit.
other people in them, but you don't have to. I don't know. Yeah, it's a hobby. Gym. Yeah.
More of a habit kind of thing.
A good habit. Good habit.
Yeah, good habit to have. What else? Those are the main ones. Like then kickboxing would be one too. Whereas I mean,
Yeah, there you go.
we discussed that about previously. I suck so much that I sprained my wrist.
Well, you know what? You know what's funny? I'm not gonna shit on you for that because we did
Mhm.
talk about that. But I interviewed John Fitch recently, and I talked about my time in karate. I grew up. I did karate. I've done kempo. I've done taekwondo. I've done all sorts of fun stuff like that. And in junior high, I was in karate. And this kid pissed me off. We got in this like schoolyard fight. He broke the screw on my glasses, right? And I was so pissed about it. I didn't realize that it was you could get it fixed for free at like any eyeglass shop. I didn't realize that until after the fact. But I was so pissed off. He broke these glasses. I knew my parents paid like $250 for these glasses. I was livid. And I was just so fucking pissed at this kid. I just sat there. I was in like it was like language arts class or something. And I'm sitting there just fuming mad about this kid breaking my glasses. And I was like, I'm going to fucking clock this kid. I'm going to clock this fucking kid. I'm going to go up to him right after this class. I'm going to punch him in the fucking face. I had a roll of pennies that I used to carry around because I, was a questionable kid. And so I was like, I'm going to fucking punch him with these roll of pennies. So I grabbed the roll of pennies. I walk out of class right after the bell rings. I walk right up to this kid, and he was like in the middle of like trying to apologize. He's like, dude, I'm so sorry about breaking your glasses. I just walked up and just fucking clocked this kid, right? Just sucker punched this kid, right? But I hit him with the small knuckles. And so I broke my hand in two places. I broke it here and here. And I knew better, right? Like we were taught to punch with the big knuckles, but I hit him with the small knuckles. I broke my hand. I'm not going to shit on you for like messing up your wrist.
Yeah, but it's like fighting isn't fun or something. Like you hear a lot of guys like talk big.
That's because they've never been in a real fucking fight.
Well, that is the impression I get.
Yeah.
And mostly because of my kickboxing instructor, like tank of a man, but he just radiates this calmness, like utter control. But even he is like very laid back. And he even told me, he's like, Jack, if you ever get in a bar fight for whatever fucking reason, just give them what they want. It's like, if they think you're a dork, you're a dork. If they think you're a loser, you're a loser. If they have the biggest dick in the world, fine. They have the biggest dick in the world. It is not worth it. Even if you are capable to like destroy him, don't. It hurts. Police is getting called. Just, it is not worth it. Whatever. It's gonna hurt. You're gonna hurt the other guy a lot. There are going to be repercussions. No, just no. It's like,
yeah. I mean, if you talk to some of the biggest, baddest dudes in the world, you talk to John fucking Fitch, he will say, like, don't get into a fucking fight. It's not about your honor, bro. It's like, dude, do you want to end up in jail because you hit some guy, he fell down on the curb, his head cracked open on the sidewalk, and now you're dealing with manslaughter charges? No. It's not worth it. De-escalate the situation. Be like, you know what? You're right, bro. I am a nerd, and walk away. It's not like no one gives a shit at the end of the day, you know? But people are like, oh, but my he disrespected me, bro. Like, dude, no one knows who the fuck you are.
Do you know Andy from Kill Your Inner Loser?
No, but the name sounds familiar. The
Great guy.
Yeah.
I cannot say positive enough things about him. I really can't. Him and I were talking about this last week, where life philosophies, and I'm kind of like, leave your ego out of it. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, the whole disrespecting thing. It's like, what at the end of the day do you win? Not much. If people don't like you, they won't like you. And if people want to say that they're right, fine. And I mean, it's something I had to learn the hard way. I'll be very honest about that. Like diet choices, even like diet choices, you can see people, and I have this every time I get meat at the supermarket because I buy a shit ton of meat.
Mm-hmm.
And the clerks who are overweight, no self-care, not groomed, anything, look at me funny. And I'm kind of like, you can think whatever you like, mate. But the proof is in the pudding, sort of say. But no, they will fight you for it. How can this be healthy? And blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't know. I'll probably be dead next week. You're right.
I argue with my doctor about this stuff because I've been doing keto for like, you know, maybe going on 2 years now. And if you eat a ketogenic diet, if you eat a carnivore type diet, you're eating a lot of fats. And if they take your blood and you have a lot of fat in your blood system, you're going to have a lot of fucking cholesterol. So they're like, oh, you've got the highest cholesterol we've ever seen. We want to put you on a statin drug. I was like, I'll pass on that. And they were like, I
remember you telling me that.
Yeah. I was like, I'll pass. And they're like, what? Oh, you should reconsider. And I was like, what are my triglycerides look like? And they're like, oh, they're low. And I was like, then fuck off. Because if you follow any, you know, ketogenic diet type guy in the space, right? Like Dr. Sean Baker, right? Sean Baker says that he's a doctor. He studies this stuff, and he's a carnivore guy.
He got his license revoked for this.
Did he?
Unfortunately. Yeah, go watch his Joe Rogan episode.
Okay.
And I mean, it just shows you how terrible like the system is and how office politics work, and it's just a shame.
Oh, it's I mean, it's all politics, but one of the things that he says, there's another doctor too. There's another one, I can't remember his name, but
Paul Saladino.
No, that's not him. But
Ken Berry.
No. Keep going. No, it's kidding. No, so
the only two I know.
it doesn't matter. Like there's a few that I follow, and they both said the same thing, right? That if you're eating the standard American diet, which is garbage, then yeah, you know, was it LDL cholesterol level being high is a terrible marker. But if you are eating a ketogenic diet, then fat is fuel and you're not eating carbs, then you're going to have a lot more fat in your system. You're going to have a lot more cholesterol. As long as your triglycerides are low, you're fine. And then also, there's also some kind of like, you know, sort of golden ratio type thing with like your hips to shoulders. And as long as you're meeting that, you're fine too. I can't remember what that number is. You guys can look it up and maybe correct me in the comments or whatever. But yeah, it's like, as long as you're on a ketogenic diet, you're sort of expected to have higher cholesterol and not to freak out about it. And that's what I told my doctor. I was like, I'm on a ketogenic diet. You fucking know that, you know? So I was like, no, I'm not taking your fucking statins. And statins, the problem with those is, yeah, they'll lower your cholesterol, but then they cause all these other problems. And then the doctor starts prescribing more meds to compensate for the known, you know, side effects. And next thing you know, you're on like a whole fucking slew of drugs. And it's like, I don't want any of that. And you can avoid all of that.
Maybe a bit controversial, this, but I mean, that's modern medicine.
Yeah.
Modern medicine is just a profit margin.
Yep.
Really is. Like they want you on at least. Oh, let me rephrase this. I am of the opinion that they would rather see me on drugs than do a lifestyle change.
Oh yeah, because you don't want to know why, Jack?
Profit.
Well, because your lifestyle change is not going to send them to the all expense paid resort fucking junket where they sell the doctor the drugs. And he's
Well,
like,
exactly.
he look, the winter home in Tahiti is not going to pay for itself, Jack. Okay. And your lifestyle change is not going to, it's not going to pay for his second home in Telluride. Okay.
Exactly. But I mean, I wanted to do a blood test. I mean, this is socialized healthcare Netherlands.
Yeah.
I wanted to do a blood test.
It's free.
I wanted to do a blood test just to see like the measurements, the values, and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, the guff I got. Yeah, but why do you want to do a blood test? I'm like, I just want to know my shortages and things like that and things I can change. Yeah, but are you feeling ill? I'm like, no, this is just like this is a personal thing. I just want to know if there's anything I need to or can change. Yeah, but if you're not ill, you can't just get a blood test. And that normally I'm actually pretty like mellow about these things. And I'm like, well, the girl there works there. She can't help it. But for some odd reason, I snapped because it's not per se socialized, but it's enforced on us. So we need to pay the English word failing. What's the word? What is the goddamn word?
Is it a copay?
No, like every month we have to pay for health insurance as an
Oh.
own risk coverage kind of thing.
Premium. We call it a
Premium. That's the one.
Okay.
Premium. So every month, like we have to pay a premium. You have to. If you don't, they will fine you. If you don't pay that, you will be put in jail.
Oh, they introduced that under President Obama for us. Yeah. Basically, it wasn't like you go to prison or whatever, but it was a tax thing. So at the end of the year, if you didn't pay for some kind of insurance, they would basically take it out of your taxes and you would pay a fine that way. It was
They
fucking bullshit.
Like, I cannot officially say they will literally put you in jail. However, that is the course of action government tends to take if you fail to pay what's theirs. So
yeah, there you go.
That's why I said it. But at a certain point, the girl told me like, yeah, but you can't just take a blood test, blah, blah, blah. And at a certain point, I was just like, then why the hell am I paying you?
Right.
It just came out. I was up to here with it. Just a simple blood test. Like, then why am I paying you? The Netherlands, healthcare for all. And all of a sudden she's like, oh, no, I understand. However, and we have to fill in a reason. Because I want to.
Yeah.
How's that for a reason?
You couldn't just make up something and be like, you know what? I feel like my libido is low.
You know what? I have ass cancer.
I have ass cancer.
It's like, Jesus Christ. I have got what do you want? Polio, whatever.
Right. Like, I have ass cancer.
You're like, what do you want to hear? I'm dying. I have 5 minutes to live and I need a blood test now. How's that? Oh, but it'll take a week. Fine, I'll stay alive. Assholes.
That's sort of like, it's weird. So my primary care physician, they have a policy where they want you to come in once a year for like an annual physical. That's sort of like their way of being able to demand at least some kind of money out of you because they can bill your insurance company, right? That's what it comes down to. But at my age, because I'm 43 now, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea to get your annual checkup. So I was like, okay, yeah. So when I went to my doctor this year, it happened to be on like a Thursday, and the Sunday before I had like a major gallbladder attack, right?
Ooh.
And for anybody out there that doesn't know what a gallbladder attack feels like, this might actually help some of you guys. It comes on, it starts feeling like a backache, right? It starts feeling like, ah, fuck, my back hurts, you know? Like, like what did I wrench my back or something? Like it feels like a backache. You can't get comfortable when you lay down to go to sleep. And then the pain sort of just comes around to like right under your right rib cage, right? That's where your
Mm,
gallbladder is.
mm.
And it feels like there's a fucking softball just like right under your rib cage, and it hurts and your back hurts, and it lasts for about 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours. So this has been an ongoing thing for me for like the last 8 years. And it's so intermittent that I never got it checked out. It's just like every couple of months this will happen. I can't sleep. I'm up all night. I finally get to sleep at like 6 in the morning, right? And it's just agony. And this last time it happened, it was like on a Sunday, and I was like, oh, I happen to have a doctor's appointment scheduled Thursday. Maybe I'll bring it up with my doctor. And so when I went in for my annual checkup, I brought it up with him, and he's like, that sounds like a gallbladder attack, bro. And sent me to get an ultrasound. Turned out I had a giant fucking stone in my gallbladder. And they're like, we got to get it removed. So I had my gallbladder removed in October. But man, long story short, I'm going to have to go back for my annual checkup again. I'm actually at my age, I want to get a full blood panel done. I want to get my testosterone looked at. And if it's like, low, or if it's, even if it's like in acceptable levels for my age, whatever that bullshit is, I think I'm going to ask him if I can get on some kind of TRT treatment, because I just see so many benefits for other guys my age.
I really like that about Rich,
Yeah.
where he was very open about it. But not only that, he had great guests on his show who know so much about TRT and how to responsibly use it.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that's like that opened a whole new conversation for a lot of men who absolutely need it.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, there's like this sort of taboo with it, right? Like in my mind, that it's like, well, I want to see if I can do this naturally. And like I've read Rich's book, I've talked to Rich, and he's very much like, dude, just fucking get on it. Like it makes sense. You'll feel better. You'll lose weight. You'll like all the great things that happened when you were 20, like when a breeze just basically came by and your dick got hard, like that kind of shit happens. Yeah. And yeah,
it makes sense as well. Like I just said, like female hormones just fly off the counter and they're being promoted and we can get them free from their government. But when it comes to male hormones, it's like, oh no, we don't do that. Are you on drugs?
Right.
Sod off. But
there's taboo with it. But
however, the male testosterone levels have been altered due to chemicals.
Yeah.
They just have, say whatever you want. It has been proven time and time again. So doesn't it make sense to, is artificially the right word, or medically? To medically enhance those levels again.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. And so I talked to Rich about it recently. Do you know RP Thor?
Yeah, I do. He's a great guy.
Yeah, Thor's awesome guy. I recently had him on. He's on TRT. He's 60, jacked as fuck.
He is 60?
Yeah, he's like 60. He's jacked as fuck. He's on TRT. He's like, dude, you are going to like if you get on it, like you're just going to like feel so much better. Like things that are like stress, when you get like stress gets thrown at you, it's just like you sort of look at it like, thank you, it's a challenge. Like you don't you don't feel stressed about it, because that's what testosterone does. I have a friend So we're 3% brothers. I have a friend in the 3% man group that lives an hour from me, and he and I get together like maybe once a month, every couple months. We get together for beers and stuff like that. He's on TRT. He's got like 3% body fat. He's like 50. Fucking jacked, dude.
3 is very low, my friend. But I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like, but he's like, he doesn't even try. You know, he might go to the gym. He goes, you know, he lifts weights and stuff like that. But I don't think he's like going hardcore with it. But he's, you know, he's just like at his optimal level. And I'm just like, fuck, you know what? I need to look into this. I really do.
I think you do. Mind you, I am not an expert on any of that, by the way. The only thing I know.
I'm even talking right now. I thought you were an expert. No, it's good.
Well, not on TRT. Like with TRT, I can only give you my opinion and like references I happen to know.
Yeah.
But like my humble opinion about TRT is, of course. Like, of course. If you're a man who's 40, because what was it? I did see a couple of guys who were like, I'm 23. Should I take TRT? No. Like, no.
Yeah.
You should be getting to the gym, having a proper diet and good sleep. That's what you need to do.
One thing I my son, he's 13. And one thing that
He's not TRT yet.
Not yet. No, but one thing that my brother told him was, he's like, this was at Thanksgiving. He's like, Braden, this is my son, Braden, you need to start hitting the gym. He's like, you're at the right age where, like, you know, your hormones are coming into place. And he's like, and if you hit the gym now and you get fucking huge now, like it's going to last for the rest of your life. And so the other day I was, you know, I've spent a lot of time with my son. My daughter, she's almost 18. She's like doing her own thing basically right now. So she's never fucking around. So it's just me and my son a lot lately. And I was out driving with him and I go, you know, what your uncle told you the other day makes a lot of sense to me. Because my son's not really, you know, he's not going through puberty yet, but he's almost there. I go, dude, you're almost at the point in your life where like you're going to have the highest amount of testosterone in your system ever. You should take it. You really should take advantage of that. You should like you hit the gym and really, you know, take advantage of that.
Look,
you don't think
I am
so?
not. Hear me out. I am not a dad. That is number one. I am not a dad. So take all of this with a grain of salt.
Okay.
This is just a question to you. Wouldn't it have been more productive if you already went to the gym and just asked them, hey, want to come with?
I sort of already do that kind of thing.
Okay.
But he's only 13. He's technically not allowed so he can go work out with me in my garage gym. So I have a home gym. He can do that all he wants. But if I want to go like down to the gym where my other gym that I go to, I have a Anytime Fitness membership. Who Aaron Clary does too, by the way. So, but if I go down to Anytime, he's supposed to be 18 to go in there, so he's not allowed in there, honestly.
No, I know what you mean, but there is some literature on this, like the training of is prepubescent the right word? So if they haven't gone, yeah. There is literature on this that kind of escapes me, and I'm trying to. I'll try to find it after the show, but like the advice has always been like, don't do it because of like the bone growth and things like that. Right. However, there's contradicting evidence that would say that no, it would be a good thing, like the strengthening of muscles, flexibility, etc., to grow with all of that. So during the growth process would be beneficial if you do some sort of resistance training.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like if I bring that forward, I do want to know exactly what I'm saying. However, like the literature does escape me. I just know it is there. It has been proven to be beneficial for prepubescent. Got it. I still didn't get it. Humans to do some form of resistance training. But the what's the word I'm looking for? The common thought, like the dogma is no, don't do it, only keep it for adults kind of thing.
Got it. There was a kid late 90s, early 2000 he was I can't
I know
remember.
exactly who you mean.
Little Hercules, that was what he went by. That was I think where a lot of this sort of idea came from, right? Because I don't think before this kid there was a lot of kids doing this. And he was like this little bodybuilder, totally ripped,
Yep.
like, and he was like 6 years old. And like basically his parents sort of took advantage of him and made him do all this stuff. I'm not suggesting that for my son, but it wouldn't hurt him at 13, going on 14, 15. And I think like probably more like 14, 15 is where he's really going to like hit his, puberty, starting to grow hair everywhere stage. That would, like, as soon as he hits that, like, I'm really going to start like hounding him about it. Be like, dude, go out there, hit the gym,
I think I got it. Brad Schoenfeld. That's the one. When performed correctly, resistance training is perfectly safe and highly beneficial for children on many levels. No, it will not stunt growth. No, it's not just for athletes. No, you don't have to wait until your child reaches their teens. Start early. And now I want the link to his whole thing. Well, you know what? I'll just send you the tweet right here. He's got a post about, why can't I send you something? There it is, about the resistance training of children. So Brad Schoenfeld, look that up.
All right, I'll have to put this in the show notes after the fact here.
Yeah. British Journal of Sports Medicine 2022 even.
Okay. So who is this guy?
Brad Schoenfeld. And funnily enough, you write it as the Dutch word for shoe. So that's pretty fun. But BRAD SCHOENFELD.
I think I can show this. Look at this. Hold on.
He's a great resource for training, especially for periodization, total amount of volume, things like that.
Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Look at this. Thank God for StreamYard.
Thank God. Unfortunately, I would like to have the whole thing.
How can we
mythology of youth resistance rate. Look at us, like being all scientific about. Yeah, well, of course, because you don't want to be that guy who claims certain thing like the 9 ancestral tenets and be called out for it.
There you go. We could blame this guy, this Brad Schoenfeld. He's a PhD.
Yeah,
doctor, bro.
Exactly.
That's funny. All right.
PubMed. Haha. Yeah, it's here. Yeah, here I got the whole thing. Research, people. Do your research. There I have the whole PubMed thing.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me bring that over here. Let's add it to the stream.
Expand affiliations, similar articles. And then you can go through all of that. There's the abstract of it, similar articles. Do that in your own time. There's links everywhere in that thing.
All right. I'll add this to the show notes if you guys want to read that.
This is also a hobby of mine, by the way.
Oh yeah, we're almost like at an hour here. We haven't even talked about really hobbies that much. Classic.
You know what I was about.
Well, that's what so when we were organizing this, I was like, well, this is what I've written down. Because I always have talking points, but I'm like, I've written down talking points based on hobbies. It would be funny to see if we even get to that. So speaking of hobbies though, I saw this was maybe a month and a half ago, there was a guy interviewing a chick. And he was like, what is the least attractive thing you find in a man? And she was like, oh, if he's got hobbies, because he's going to be off doing his thing and blah, blah, blah. Basically, it was like, he's never going to have time for me type situation. I was like, that is complete bullshit. One thing that I found is that if you have hobbies, typically chicks are like into whatever you're into, right? And if they're not, they're not for you, bro. But you have hobbies, you invite them to join you, they're into it. But if they try to get you to drop your hobbies and you say, yeah, I'll drop my hobbies for you, babe, then they lose attraction for you because you're a pussy.
This is what we like to call a shit test.
Exactly.
I haven't ran into those in years. Or maybe I'm just like mute for it.
Well, it's a emasculation paradox, right?
Hmm.
You're not familiar with the emasculation paradox?
Should I? I mean, we all know I'm a beta male. Come on.
Oh, okay. Good point. Good point. Well, actually, this is something I learned from Ryan Stone. Ryan learned this. So this was written like it was the very first red pill post ever made by a guy that goes by Hawaiian Libertarian.
Oh,
He
I know him.
He wrote an article about, I can't remember what it was. It was called like Game is the Red Pill. I think that's the name of his blog or the blog post. And somewhere in the blog, it talks about how when guys are worried about losing women, so they start doing whatever it is that the woman says and starts, oh, I don't want to upset her. I'm going to do what she says. Oh, she asked me to do the laundry. I'm going to do the laundry because I don't want to upset her because I don't want to lose her. That all that kind of stuff to make her happy is what's going to cause her to leave in the first place. Right.
Yeah, but that's the betification by 1,000 concessions.
It's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. So the trick is to like basically not lose frame. Like frame is everything because relativity. And but basically you have to be the same guy that attracted her in the first place. So if you had all these hobbies in the first place, like that was one of the things that attracted her to you. So you can't, if she says, oh, get rid of those, you gotta be like, just laugh at her and be like, that's cute. And then just keep doing your fucking hobbies, because that actually is what made you attractive in the first place. And she'll stick around.
Well, it's not even the hobby itself. It's that you unapologetically enjoy it.
Yep. Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. Could be Star Wars, could be Warhammer, could be Legos, could be wrestling, could be fishing.
Goddamn right, wrestling. Let me tell you about wrestling. Okay.
Let me tell you about wrestling, son.
Let me school you on wrestling here. So when I met, so I'm one of those guys that I'm not a fan of coffee dates, right? Because it sort of puts out the friend vibe. I've learned that from Corey Wayne. And so I'm not a fan of coffee dates, but when I met Nurse Chick was working graveyard shift. So she couldn't meet me in the evening for drinks because she had to work in the evenings. So she was like, yeah, I have to meet up in the day. And I was like, fuck. All right, fine. Coffee. So we met up at a Starbucks. We hung out. I went for a kiss at the end of that interaction. And she was just like all in after that. And so I went home. It happened to be this was on a Sunday. It was WrestleMania Sunday. And so I'm at home. I'm getting ready to I'm excited. I'm going to watch fucking WrestleMania. And she texts me and she goes, oh, you know what? It turns out that I got low census, which means they didn't have enough patience for her to go in for work. So she had the night off. So it turns out I have the evening off. What are you up to? And I go, well, I'm watching WrestleMania at my house. You're welcome to join me. And she's like, WrestleMania? I've never watched that before. And so she came all the way to my house. I live in her house is an hour from mine. So she drove an hour out of her way to come to my house to watch fucking wrestling. And I was like, and so as soon as she was like down to come over to my house to watch wrestling, I was like, it's fucking on, dude. It's it's on at that point.
Well, exactly. And look, a lot of guys are worried, like, is she gonna think it's stupid? So
it's my thing. Yeah, it's like if she thought that wrestling was stupid and wouldn't come over here for wrestling, well, that's what I'm into. So if you're not into that, fucking kid,
it sucks to be you.
Kick rocks, bitch. But yeah, no, she was like, "Oh, I've never watched that before. I'm going to come over." So she came over. We literally watched the entire thing of WrestleMania because I was not going to miss that. And then, but she was totally cool. She's like, "Oh my god, like, what are they doing right now? Are they they're jumping off the rope? Oh my god, they're doing a backflip!" Like, she was into it.
Doesn't that hurt?
Yeah. And one thing led to another. Indoor Olympics, everything was great. We're still together. It's almost well over a year and a half later now. And we just went to Utah to watch a live wrestling event because we were watching wrestling the other day, and she's like, "We need to go to a live wrestling event." And I was like, "Well, let me find one." So I found one in Utah. We went out there, and she got to see a live wrestling event. She got to meet actual former WWE like legends like Diamond Dallas Page. And then the next morning we met up with Rob for breakfast. So we actually got to
how
meet
was
Rob.
that?
Great, dude. Got met his belly dancer, and he got to meet Nurse Chick, and it was great. It was a great conversation. Good people.
He's great. He's great, isn't he?
Oh yeah. And belly dancer Chick is very cool. Very cool. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, Rob in person is he's a good dude.
The 5 foot man, the 5 foot man with a 6 foot frame is how I describe him.
Well, how tall are you? You're like 6 something. 6.
I'm 6.
You're 6 feet. Okay. So I'm not. I'm 5'9". So like Rob actually, I mean, he's maybe a little shorter than me, but he's only like maybe 2 inches. It wasn't that noticeable for me, but I would imagine that someone that's as tall as you would notice something like that.
As being back on Twitter, it's like women 6 feet tall and blah blah blah. It's like, where my women at? Where my women at?
Yeah, you got your women, you know that. Man, we went off on such a tangent, dude. We went off on what were we talking? We talked about the 9 ancestral tenets. We talked about Liver King. We talked about TRT, the benefits of it. We talked about teenagers working out, we did hit on hobbies a little bit. Yeah. Like wrestling. Oh, you know what? I will say this. When we were planning this, you did send some pictures of some of your girls playing with your Legos. So there's that. So the girls like your Legos.
You have my receipts.
Yeah.
Some of my receipts, not all of them, some.
Yeah.
But continue.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that. Do we want to show you? We don't want to show your receipts.
No.
I mean,
I would appreciate it if you do not share those.
Yeah, we don't need to share them. I mean, you did hide their faces though.
I did hide their faces, but still.
You said Bishes love castles and ships. 2 different chicks, by the way.
Yeah.
For the people listening, they're like, "What? This guy from the Netherlands? He's got 2 chicks playing with his Legos here." Yeah.
I even built one ship together with a former main plate of mine. Yeah, I mean, look, women will copy your hobbies.
Yeah.
They just will. And people always joke about it like, oh, the Lego guy. It's like, yeah, I enjoy it. It gives me peace of mind, and I don't care what you think. I lift. I take care of my finances, got all my other shit in order. I'm 6 foot tall, mind you. 6 foot.
That's the important thing.
That's the important thing. I mean, above all else. I mean, I could have drowned kittens, but at least I'm 6 foot.
Yeah.
It excuses everything. Unfortunately, Kanye is not 6 foot, so
yeah, so he can't get away with it.
I got it in there, nice. But I do all the other things, and I like the relaxation of building one of those sets and making a bit of a scenery and things like that. And like the former main plate, I don't even remember how she knew. I just mentioned I have a couple of sets like right here even. And I was just very unapologetic about it. Like, yeah, I'm building a ship, by the way. So, oh, can I join? It's like, sure, dear. And there's one set I have, and it has these tiny white flags where you have to put stickers on. I don't know why Lego does this, where it's like you can easily print the parts, and I hate stickers because the longer you have it, it's gonna fade, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there with that small, stupid piece in my hand, like very, very carefully, wanting to put the sticker on. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she goes, "Did you know my friend did?" I'm like, honey, shut up. Put the sticker on very carefully, precise, put the little flag on it. I'm like, you were saying? And then she continues with the whole rambling of her girlfriend and whatever she did. I'm like, that's nice, dear. I'm happy for you. She's like, yes. It's like, oh, you almost finished it. I'm like, yes, dear. I indeed almost did. I'm like, did you know how I and Clary met, by the way?
No.
First time so it's not the first time we met. It's the first time I went on his podcast.
Okay.
So he sends me the StreamYard link. And like guns blazing, he starts. He's like, Jack, if I'm doing in front of a computer, what am I doing? I'm like, you are typing. He's like, typing. And what does typing mean when I do that? Like, you're probably working on something. Working! Now, what do you think I would not have time for? Like, anything else but working? Anything else but working! You know what the girlfriend does? Like, no. It's like, do you like the red shoes or the blue shoes? It's like, do I look like I fucking care? It's kind of like that, where you're like in the middle of something, and all of a sudden, then it's a nuclear decision needs to be made, or a story to end all stories needs to be told. It's like,
I think the biggest takeaway from all of this that people need to know is that Aaron Clary actually does in fact have a girlfriend.
People forget that. That's the funny part.
They think he's like this like MGTOW king guy. But the funny thing is, like, I've met belly dancer chick. I've met Clary's girl, and Clary's a fucking pimp, dude. Like, we went out. Clary, he leads. He takes her hand, like leads her through things. He's like, babe, we're going dancing, and he like Clary can fucking dance. That's another amazing thing too. Clary just takes her out to the dance floor and fucking like he's just like you're like, holy fuck, dude. What a pimp, dude.
He's been a ballroom dance instructor.
Yeah, he's short as fuck too. Like,
like, did you ever do ballroom dancing or salsa?
I did know that he did ballroom dancing.
No, but did you ever do it?
Dude, fuck no. Dude, no.
No, I did. It's amazing.
You did ballroom dancing and salsa. I used to go like clubbing and did that sort of like
the shuffling,
urban fucking like pretend black dude fucking dancing. But I'm a white guy, dude. Like
white boys can dance. No, I used to do salsa and ballroom as well.
Yeah. Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's fun. Really is fun.
One of my Patreon patrons is a ballroom dancer. Dude's amazing at it. I've seen some of his videos. One of the things that's going back to hobbies though, one of the things that he brought up to me on one of our calls was that he was like, dude, some of these chicks that I'm talking to like don't have anything going on in their lives. And I'm like, they don't have to, bro. They just have to show up looking hot. And then you invite them to join you on your shit. Like, that's how that works. And he was like, oh, okay. Like, I was like, don't get off in the weeds on what they have going on, because it doesn't matter. They just, as long as they look hot, that's all their job is. And they know that.
Yeah. I think that's kind of how that went with like those ships where she wanted to come over. And I'm like, well, I'm building a new one, by the way, or I'm picking a new one up. So you have to come with. Otherwise, I'll pick you up later. No, I want to come with. Yeah, it kind of goes like that. And like the girl I showed you with the castle, like she was here and she saw the things. I'm like, I have more like upstairs. She's like, you do? I'm like, yeah, pretty big.
I have some more upstairs if you want to see. You know what I mean?
Well, we already did that. Oh, okay. But it's like, she's like, "Oh, can I see?" and blah blah blah. It's like, and then you show them the little rooms and shit like that, and the trap doors, and
Yeah.
you just have to own it. I don't get this whole being ashamed of things kind of thing. Like, so I mean, I've got in front of me a shelf with PSA graded Pokemon cards,
Yeah.
and the first ever Lego set my dad bought me, sealed in box, just standing right in front of me. I'm like, look, you can take it or leave it.
So I do get it as a recovering nice guy, because I remember how I used to be before I learned all this stuff, and it was like, you don't want to fuck it up, like you're like, oh, I'm afraid if she learns this about me, she's not going to like me, kind of thing. And it's like, well, if she doesn't like you for the shit that you're into, like she's not into you, man.
Well, but I always saw that as kind of a shit test.
Mm-hmm.
I really did. Where it's like, oh, you're into that, yeah. So,
and that's the perfect way to handle it.
I mean, don't dare, defend, explain. I always get that one wrong. Rationalize is the last one. The second E, it's like expand, excuse.
Yeah.
That's the one. Like I said, I always get that wrong. But a lot of guys go in there. It's like,
I just did a solo episode about this. Like at the time of this recording, it's this. By the time this drops, it's going to be like 2 weeks ago, and it's about on owning your shit. And one of the things I talk about is like, don't dare, don't defend, you don't have to explain yourself. If this is what you're into, fucking own it. So a lot of guys just don't understand that. They don't want to fuck it up with girls, and it's like, you should worry about her fucking things up with you. That's the way. That's the mindset you need to have.
like, what are her hobbies?
Who gives a shit? She does what you like to do. She does
No,
what you like to do.
I like eating and whining.
She
And
needs,
like not the complaining whining, no, the actual like wine drinking, which it's apparently called whining for some odd reason, and traveling, shopping.
She needs to like what you do, and if she can't get on board with it, she needs to fucking kick rocks. That's how it is.
It's the same thing as video games. You know how many girls play video games? A lot,
quite a few now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they do that because boys like games. That's why.
That was the first date for me in the main plate. Mario Kart.
Ugh.
She had Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube. Pretty dope.
I've done a Mario Kart date. Jack, we are over an hour now, man. Where can people find you online, brother?
Twitter at Jack Napier Knows. I am back. YouTube at Jack Napier Knows. And if you would do me a favor, people can also get on my email list, and they will get the exercise performance course where they will be taught how to squat, bench, deadlift, shoulder press, do pull-ups, and dips for free.
Yeah, I will drop that in the show notes. Guys, check out the show notes. It's going to have all Jack's links and stuff in there, including his email list. Jack actually, I will say this, Jack knows his shit when it comes to working out. So if you are struggling with that, hit up Jack. He's a good dude. You can send him, a video of how you're doing deadlifts, and he'll be like, that's where you're fucking up right there.
It's usually they lift the hips up before they push the floor away, and they extend their neck. Quit watching where you're going. You don't need to do that. And as of the time of recording this, I have a spot left in my monthly accountability group where we do weekly foreign checks, personalized training schedule, diet plan, and a monthly consultation. So if the spot is still open, you can come claim it by the time this is released. And if not, well, if you're on the email list, you will be notified when a spot is open again.
There you go. I'll put that in the show notes as well. Jack, always a pleasure, man. Thanks for joining me today.
Paul, thank you for having me. Likewise.
Jack, thanks for joining me as always, man. You're welcome back anytime. It's always fun catching up with you. It's funny, at the time that this drops, you were actually on, like, I think my first live stream. So, and if you guys didn't know, if you guys out there listening didn't know, I'm doing live streams now on Wednesdays and Friday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern time on YouTube. And Jack joined me to talk about New Year's resolutions. But we recorded this episode before that one, which is funny. There's a whole, time space continuum with the podcast. And if you didn't see that one, go back and check it out. It was a pretty good episode. If you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, hit those notifications. Can't stress that enough. Drop a comment. Any comment will do, even if it's, just an emoji. Follow me on your favorite social media platforms. I'm on pretty much all of them. The links are in the description too, if you guys, don't want to try to remember this. Get on the Patreon, patreon.com/comeonmanpod. Joining the Patreon supports the show more than anything else that I put out there. You can join for as little as $10. You get all these episodes without all the ads, plus you get added to the beer credits at the end of these shows on Monday. And yeah, man. And if you guys if you want dating advice, if you want serious dating advice, and you want to be able to if you're in the middle of a conversation with a chick and you get stuck, if you want advice right away, join the Patreon, either level 2 or level 3, just depending on your needs. But if you join those, you can send me screenshots of what's going on your dating app, and I can tell you oh, this is how you navigate that situation. Or you can send me pictures of the profile pics that you have or how you have your bio set up. And I can be like, well, I would tweak this. I would change this picture. I would do whatever. It's actually a pretty good value. So check it out. Patreon.com/comeonmanpod. Get on the email list.comeonmanpod.com, and I will send you some free stickers for your troubles. And then other than that, check out my practical law of attraction course, loa.comeonmanpod.com. And put yourself in the driver's seat of your own life with what you will learn in this program. It's pretty nominal. If you realize what you can do with this stuff, the cost of this course is it's a drop in the bucket. It's pennies compared to what you can do with this knowledge. It'll blow your mind. It'll absolutely blow your mind, guys. So check that out. The link's in the description for that. All right. That's pretty much all I have for this week. Catch me on Wednesday for the live stream. Otherwise, I guess we'll see you guys next week on Monday. Talk to you later.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. New full episodes served hot every Monday morning on your favorite podcast platform of choice. So subscribe now. Follow Paul on social media. The links are in the description. Now, go out and get it.